So, welcome back, guys. Here we're going to dive into the swings and candle matter. So, we have a very primary and very critical question. What is the building blocks of the market? Now, some people will assume that it is candles that they are forming the actually chart and such. And some people just argue that no, the candles actually are built by volatility and other swings inside themselves. So, I should say that the second people are actually their ideas are more logical because the candle themselves are like kind of indicators, which is close to the price, and they're just showing volatility in the market. So that's why I just consider uh, swings, which are representing the volatility of market and decision points that people are deciding to buy and sell, and it just creates this volatility in the market, and they're represented by swings on the chart. So that's why we're not going to be concerned about the candles. And although we're going to use the candles to determine the swings, and also we're going to use swings to determine the higher time frame candles. So this is a fractal point of view, which happens a lot in the nature. And this is, I mean, the market is not exception. It happens in the market as well. So let's go to the swings and see how we can determine the swings. And the reason that we want to just determine the swing is that we want to decide what footprints decisions of the market, I mean, market makers or those people that they are driving the uh, pr- price in different direction are left. Like if we just can determine the swings and turning points that their idea they have changed or there's a decision that they want to do, we have this swings as our toolkit, which is really important. But we have different ways of determining swings. Okay, so I'm going to talk about them. So far, we have gone through how to do candles. Sorry, how to form candles from the price ladder. I showed you the animation of that, and also the building blocks. We have already talked. We just talked about it. Like we said that it is swings. Now we're going to determine the swings. We have five methods of, I mean, popular methods of determining swings. So I will just explain two of them in depth, and I will just mention the three ones that they are. And maybe there are other methods, but these are most popular ones. So that's why we're going to learn those things. So swings, when there is a battle between buyers and sellers, like here you can see two kids are fighting over a doll, or and this movement here, right and left in the market, we have just one way of moving, up or down. Okay, we cannot move right or left. And the swings that we have in the playgrounds are like this, or the seesaw. Okay, is more refined version of decisions that they are happening in the market. Okay, sometimes we have up movements, sometimes we have down movements. So now five ways of actually five types of swings, five ways of methods of determining swing points that I have already mentioned. So I'm going to just describe just two of them in depth, but we will start with the classical ones. But the ones that I have in mind, which is really important and mechanical, and I will explain why. Uh, mm, they are our just building blocks of our decisions, actually. So here, in the beginning, we have this classical ways of defining swings, turning points, U-turns. Okay, so the first one is William fractal, which has standard and non-standard, and they are not, actually very subjective and differs from person to person. And sometimes we have other ways of defining it, like some people say that if we have 25% of retracement of Fibonacci, they can consider it as a U-turn or neat turning point on the chart. To reduce this confusion, they try to just introduce instead of five, four, or six, seven candles that they form in William fractals. They wanted to just reduce the number of candles to have precision and have less confusion. So they have introduced three bars candle reversal. Anyways, all of these three, I consider them classical ones, and they lead to confusion and actually subjectivity. So you cannot 100% agree with someone else that this is the turning point, this is the way you see the chart, and from a person to another person, it really changes. Man, we don't want this confusion, right? Now, more mechanical way of defining swings, it is giving you an objectivity and precision that you are sure that you're not making any mistake when you are analyzing the chart. So you know that in the world of business, which is actually you are just taking risks, you have to have measurable things to just see if you are doing the right decision or wrong decision. And if you don't have these measures, you're going to be in dilemma and you cannot define, and later you cannot actually analyze your performance. And that's why we need something more mechanical and measurable. So these are Gann ways and actually valid protected strings that I'm going to consider. So Gann itself could be actually, Gann, which he is very famous. If you don't know him, you can Google him. Okay, he's one of the geniuses ever in the market. So Gann is more mechanical, but it has a little bit like also it has a little confusion, but much better than these three ways. And this also is usable whenever we are just using it is nested inside the other one. So I'm going to explain that. So in the Gann way, we're going to use high and lows of the candles to just determine. And in this one, we're going to consider the close, candle breakout. So now I'm going to explain that. When you're using this one, you're going to actually have some confidence you will be more confident in your way and determining what's happening inside the chart. So when we come to the live market, you will see it in the real way, that you will see that oh yeah, these two, especially the last one, is much more trustworthy. So now let's just mention about the very first one very quickly. So this is volume fractal. This is the standard one. You will not see this kind of candles on the chart. This rarely happens. And for determining this one, we usually need at least 5 candles. So the middle candle, which is this one, is the highest one. In here, the middle candle is the lowest one. We call this one low fractal, and this one is the high swing, and this one is low swing. So in market structure, they call it lower low and higher high. And so we're going to skip through this one, and we have non-standard version of this one. Sometimes we cannot find these two neat candles that their highs are lower than the third candles, or we cannot find the same scenario in the bearish situation like this one. We usually have this kind of messy thing on the chart. So this is the reason that it creates most of confusion, and we cannot determine if we are on the right side of the market, or we're on the right track. And we have to just eliminate this confusion, especially when you're risking a lot of money and your capital is on the line. So the second method, which is also try to just make it a little more mechanical, but I don't agree with this one because it lacks actually logical, and it is just based on the Fibonacci, and it says that, right, okay, if we have this movement up, if we have at least 25% of retracement, we would consider this point valid high or upswing, or whatever you want to name it. This U-turn from up to down is called swing. And the same here, if you have this one, actually you see that you yourself can see it here, that there is no turning point in real market, but it has retraced 25%. So they consider this one as the swing. And in the bearish scenarios, like here, this leg, which has 25% of retracement, or here again, we have this one, 25%, sorry, from down. Okay, if we consider from this leg, okay, from up to down, this 25% or more is considered as swing points. So because we're not going to work with these things, I just wanted to mention them. So the third scenario, third way, which is better than previous two ones, they're just reducing number of the candles, like from 3 or from 5 to 3, so that they can just have this kind of U-turn. But the point is here, this one is normal 3-bar reversal, so the shadow also is considered this as swing. If I mean, the high of the bearish candle here is taken by the shadow, they call it a 3-bar reversal. But more enhanced way, I would just agree more with that, is this one, which is the high of this bearish one is taken by the close of this bullish candle. The reason is, so if we have a real turning point, if we have a real change in the market view by market makers, those people that they're moving the market, they should have enough capital to just raise the market up and take and not only taking the stop losses here, whatever it is, they should maintain their stance there up, and it confirms this is a real U-turn, and you can just turn from the bearish bias to the bullish bias. So this is the first one is the same representation of this one, and this one is for U-turn, which is going from up to down. This one is valid protected high. This one is valid protected low. Here we consider this candle's low valid protected low. We consider this one is valid protected high. And actually, this is really similar to our last method, which is the fifth method. So before we move on, let me just talk about Gann way of seeing it. So we have two ways of determining Gann swings. So these two are used to just also show the order flow and the scale of the market, high and low. So now, if we consider here, we have a candle, which is a bullish candle, and we have high and low of this candle. So the second candle here has taken the high of this candle. Okay, so if we want to just say that what the actually direction of market is, we can say that it started from the low of the market and it ended up in the close of the market here, and it has experienced the high of this market, this price as well. So the same scenario here. If you want to just connect these three together, it will give us a roadmap. Okay, it is a footprint of overall what happened inside these three candles. Okay, price has experienced this area. It started from this area of the price and it moved up. It had some setbacks here and volatility. So we're just ignoring them for the sake of simplicity. So not to get confused, we are just connecting these three candles low to the high. And the way that we are just considering and we're defining our actual direction is just by comparing the high and low of the new candle with the previous candle. If it is taking the high of the candle or low of the candle. So here again, it is taking the high of the candle. As far as it is not taking the low of the candle. We are still bullish. We have still bullish bias on this one. So the same here. It means that it is maintaining its direction. And now here, the low of this candle is taken by a shadow or wick of this previous candle. Okay, so now we're gonna just consider this one. Okay, change in the direction and change in the bias based on Gann's swing actually. Okay, so now let's see if this scenario of bearishness continues. Okay, you can see that it didn't continue and it has taken the high of this bearish candle. So it was just a pullback, a short pullback in candle scale, and the price has continued its direction toward up. And the same here, although it is a bearish candle, but it has taken the high of this candle. Now we have also a change in the direction based on the Gann theory. So this is the way that we are defining Gann. Okay, but sometimes some people are going microscopic and become so rigid in defining the order flow. So we can have the same kind of candle, but with different point of view. For example, we have these two candles. We have them here, but some people even consider this volatility between these two candles, like this one, okay, as the movement in the market. So these are more perfectionist way of just watching it. The same here. You just consider. So while we were just, for the sake of simplicity, we were connecting this one to this one in this case. But here we are just considering every bit of movement on the candle scale here as well. So the same happened here. Then the same, we're going to just connect them together. And this one. So we're not going to work on this one. I think that this one is much easier even. We are just using it after we're using method 5, not method 4a. Method 5 is much more logical and scientific. But when we are just doing this Gann swing accounting, we are going to face some scenarios. We are going to actually face 3 scenarios. What are the scenarios? The scenarios are, because we are determining this Gann swing based on the high and low of the candles, okay, which one is breaking out? Either it is breaking from the high, which is continuing the trend, or either they're changing it, or sometimes they're neither breaking the high or low, or sometimes they're breaking both high and lows. We don't have any other scenarios. So here, if we continue, this is the way. And now we have trending candles. What does it mean? It means that this candle, which its high was taken by this one, we expect to have the trending candle afterwards before even this candle is formed. Our bias is just forming new candle like this one. We call these, if the high of this candles repeatedly over and over is taken, we call these candles trending candles. So it means that high of these candles repeatedly are taken, or low of these candles are repeatedly taken. Even here, it happened once, but we consider this one what? Trending candle. Why? Because it has one trend, one bias. It has one direction to be chosen. Okay. But sometimes we have some candles that they're inside these two. You can't see it here. We don't have any number 2 scenario or number 3 scenario here. I'm going to show them on the real chart. So sometimes neither high nor the low of the candle is taken. So these are inside bars. In these cases, we're going to ignore these candles. So in a way that we think that they don't exist. But whenever we have the outside bar, okay, which is taken high and low of the candle, we're going to just consider the previous candle and the direction and the color of the candle, which it happened. So I'm going to just explain them on the chart as well. But before we move on, let's have an overview of what happens in 2 ways of determining the candles when we go to the lower time frame. So these candles, you see these candles, the bigger one, I mean, the green ones that you see here, are exactly the same candles here. But I have gone to the lower time frame to show you that what it shows under lower time frame scale. So here you can see that these candles also, they have their own Gann swings here. Okay, so when we have this direction bias, our intention is that find out the pullbacks and hunting these pullbacks and take some points out of them as far as the direction is intact and it is in the place and it hasn't changed. So here is the same. But if you go to 4B method, which is Gann swing, which is microscopic, here you can see this one's, the movement, even the tiny bit of movement are plotted here. Okay, so actually we are using these two ways to determine the order flow inside the chart, because sometimes we are having this setbacks in the market, but this price is continuing. Okay, the same direction is continued. Okay, this tiny bit of changes in the direction of market cannot mislead us, and to do that, to just ignore this tiny bit of actually misleading information, we need to have more refined version of this one, so which is valid protected swings. So if we were using valid protected swings here, we would not change our bias from bullish to bearish. Still, with this low moment, we would be bullish on this. For example, here we have two conditions. So in order to meet these conditions, so we have the last closing candle, bullish candle. So the close of the candle here is higher than previous candle's high. Close of the candle is higher than previous candle's high. So, and the second thing that we need to have a valid high is that the low of this bullish candle, which has the close higher than the previous candle, is taken by the close. I'm just repeating, by the close, not the shadow. Close of the second candle, which is bearish candle, obviously, right? So this one gives us a valid high. Now, to have the reverse scenario for valid low, we need reverse conditions. We need a bearish candle like this one. Look, this is bearish down closing candle. Okay, so the low of this, the close of this candle is lower than the low of this candle. Why didn't we consider this one? Because this close of this candle is not lower than the low of this candle. So our last down closing candle is considered this. And whenever we have this lower down closing candle, the high of this candle is taken by the close, not shadow. We don't consider this yet a valid low because it is taken by the shadow. But whenever it is taken by this close of the candle, it is a valid low for us. Now we have valid high and valid low. But in order to actually find our direction and structure that you're going to see in the next videos, we need valid protected high or valid protected low, because we need at least 4 or 3 swings in order to just plot our direction and structure of the market on the chart. So look, in order to have this valid protected high, not only we need to have these two conditions met, okay, these two conditions both need to be met. Okay, we also need to take this high of the candle, okay, not only its low was taken by the close of the candle, we need the high of the candle taken by a close-up bullish candle, like this scenario here. So both low and high of last closing candle is taken by close of a bullish movement, a bullish candle, and bearish candle. So we have 3 conditions. Number 1, we need last closing candle, okay. Number 2, low of the candle should be taken by the close again. Number 3 condition is that the high of the candle should be taken again by the close of the bullish candle. And also for valid protected low, we have the same scenario, which must happen to this candle. It means it must go down. I don't have it here. I will show it on the chart. So it must go lower than this low, and it should be by close of the candle. So let's have, this one becomes valid protected high rather than valid high. So let's dive into the chart and have some real examples on the chart. So this is the only way that we are going to use, and sometimes we're going to use the previous method, which is Gann swing. When we need more confirmation, we need to just have more order flow. So these two are enough for us, and we don't need any other system.